Hey, this is Deputy Gordon.
What's up?
Hey, I'm off duty, but I was driving to my in-laws and I just rolled my patrol car.
You okay?
Yeah, I think I'm fine. It was scratching my face, but you got other people here. I just was coming down Rambo, heading northbound.
Chad, I've wrestled with this one. There's absolutely no justifiable reason to be driving that vehicle that fast and you weren't on duty. There's just no justifiable reason. I want to sustain all policy violations except for the last one, false and misleading statements. The reason I'm not going to sustain that one is I can't definitively say that you lied. And the reason I can't definitively say that is quite frankly, you shouldn't be here. That accident probably should have killed you. We have had members of this agency die in that similar type of accident. With that in mind, yeah, you could have had a little bit of scrambled going on in your thinking capacity. So there's also a line in here where you say that you never really did look at your speedometer. All you know is you were going fast. With that in mind, that's why the last one is not being sustained. It is not sustained. Not sustained means I can't prove either way.
Right.
So all policy violations will be sustained except for that one. That will be not sustained. And as a result of that, your employment with the Spokane County Sheriff's Office is terminated as of this date. This is a very serious situation you could have died in. You could have killed a civilian had there been another rig on that road at the time that this happened. This showed a very complete lack of judgment on your part. And it's my responsibility to protect the agency and the citizens of this county from lack of judgment. So that's why you're being terminated.
You can't give me the right to be a human being. I'm fine with that right. Now you can keep me from having that if you've got all the policemen and all the jobs on your side.
Corruption. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it means dishonest or illegal behavior, especially by powerful people, such as government officials or police officers. This video is an update to my Corruption Watch story from back in March of 2019 regarding Spokane County Sheriff's Deputy Chad Gordon. I guess I should say this video is an addition to that story, not an update. If you didn't see it or don't remember, Gordon wrecked his patrol car on Easter of 2018. Check the description below for the link to the full story and a follow-up I did while I was waiting for my public records request to be fulfilled. That's what brings me to this story. I got the files from my request this fall, and now I've finally had a chance to look through them all and listen to the audio of the interviews. And I'll be bringing you the conclusion of my previous Corruption Watch story this coming week. While I was doing some research for my final update on the saga, I did another search with the District and Superior Courts of Spokane County. I don't know why I did the search, because the records from the Easter 2018 case are sealed. It must be nice having a lawyer paid for with money stolen from the people he keeps in servitude to make sure we can't check up on his statute infractions. Remember that part as I bring you these shocking updates to the saga of a deputy that is on a 4-year last chance probation as a result of him breaking those very statutes he's supposed to enforce. What I noticed while checking the court websites was there's a new listing from January 8, 2020 with a January 21st court date. This, my friends, is why I'm bringing you this story. I was unable to attend the court date on the 21st, but did see it was regarding a civil proceeding regarding a divorce and, interestingly enough, a domestic violence incident. I immediately filed a public records request with the Spokane Police, assuming they would be the independent department to be investigating this incident since Gordon works for the Sheriff's Department. I've since reviewed the case narrative and report as prepared by Spokane Major Crimes Detective Went, which I'll proceed to read through some of the more important highlights in a bit. But first, I'm going to do something I don't do often, but I'm on a time crunch here, and I need your help to do this story fully and make it right. After inquiring about the video and audio taken during the courtroom proceedings, I found out they're not always recorded. And if they aren't, the only record of what was said is by the transcriptionist in the court, and I would have to find out which one was in the courtroom that day and get the transcript directly from them. I submitted a public records request for the audio and visual of the courtroom that day and was told it looks like the hearing was recorded. However, I was told in order to get a copy of it, I have to go to the clerk's office in person and prepay $25 to have the footage put on a disc for me. This is where you, my supporters, come in. I've exhausted my budget for doing these activities recently, and I'll have the money to pay the fee and get the footage, but it may take some time. I'm a little worried by the time I have the money together, the footage may no longer be available. So I'm asking you, the people who support this channel and my work, if you can spare even $1 towards this cause, I'd greatly appreciate it. Links to PayPal and GoFundMe are in the description below. The only reason I'm appealing to you all for this is it's a time-sensitive issue. And I've had supporters in the past tell me if there's a charge for some of these requests and I need assistance in paying for them to ask, and they might be able to chip in. So here I am, friends, asking you to help me get this footage and provide a full story with all the details for the public to see. I fear this is the only way we may be able to get this dangerous order-following state statute enforcer off of the streets with his qualified immunity. It's enforcement agents like this that pose a real threat to our societies. So again, if you can spare anything at all and you like my work and want to support it, links are in the description below. I'll make a video highlighting and thanking anyone who's kind enough to contribute. As for now, I've received the full case report and narrative as it was prepared by Detective Went of the Spokane Police and submitted to the county prosecutors. I've received correspondence from the Spokane Public Records Department letting me know the rest of the files associated with this case will be available for me in mid-March. I believe and hope their audio and/or video files of the interviews for this case and a copy of the video being referenced in this report where Gorton's now ex-wife says he hit her. Now I'm going to proceed with reading most of the highlights of this case and what's happened so far. Okay guys, so what we're looking at here is, like I mentioned, it's the Spokane Police Field Case Report for this domestic violence incident between Chad Gorton and his ex-wife. So the first few pages really are just the people that are involved with this. So the Spokane Police Department redacted some information from this. That's what you see, these black boxes here. So here's the people involved. We have Chad Gorton. Here's some witnesses down here. See, these are both subjects. What it says is they're people. So that means they're part of the investigation. The rest of them are going to be listed as witnesses. So here, I'm just going to start reading some of this is the narrative. And now keep in mind, this doesn't say facts of the case. This says narrative. So that's very important to keep in mind when you're reading these reports, if you ever read them. On December 31st, 2019, at about 14:10 hours, Sergeant Keller requested I investigate a potential domestic violence incident involving a Spokane County Sheriff's Deputy, Chad Gorton, and his wife. Sergeant Keller explained that SCSO administrators had requested the Spokane Police Department investigate third-party allegations of domestic violence involving the Gortons. Sergeant Keller supplied me with documents from the SCSO, which outlined the third-party complaints. I reviewed the documents, one of which was authored by SCSO Sergeant Jared Kine, and another authored by SCSO Deputy Giacomini. The documents I reviewed revealed the following information. On December 30th, 2019, at about 17:30 hours, at the beginning of his shift, Deputy Giacomini requested a meeting with his Sergeant Jared Kine. Due to the workload, the meeting was delayed until about 23:30. Deputy Giacomini then relayed the information to Sergeant Klein that he had received from his wife, Crystal Giacomini. The information included a conversation that Crystal Giacomini had with Chad Gorton's ex-wife, in which she made statements that she possessed a video of Chad Gorton being assaultive towards her. Deputy Giacomini further relayed information to Sergeant Kine that he had spoken with Deputy Brandon Carlos about the allegations that his wife had shared. When Deputy Giacomini and Deputy Carlos had this discussion, Deputy Carlos relayed to the Deputy Giacomini that his wife, Casey Carlos, had been told similar information by Gorton's wife. I reviewed this document, which revealed the following information. On December 30th, 2019, at about 6:15 hours, Deputy Chad Gorton contacted his supervisors in order to make them aware that he and his wife were going through a divorce, describing their relationship as tumultuous. Deputy Gorton further relayed information to the sergeants that his wife was using a year-old video of him to potentially accuse him of assault if he does not do what she wants him to do. When the supervisors asked him about the video, Deputy Gorton explained that the video will just show him removing her sunglasses off of her face to talk to her. Deputy Gorton explained that he wanted to notify his supervisors of what was occurring and that he had done nothing wrong. Deputy Gorton also revealed that he had moved out of their residence and that he and 2B are not currently living together. So basically, that part's, I've already read through this whole thing, so I just wanted to point out, remember what he says in there. It's really important. He's setting the stage here. I've already experienced the lies from this deputy from the report on the wreck that I'm going to be showing you guys in the next week here. So I'm already familiar with how he tries to do this, how he manipulates the scene, manipulates his wife, manipulates everything. I've already read about it. Now, in the defense of the detective here, this is a detective from the Spokane Police Department, so he's not necessarily in the privy, especially because all of those court documents were sealed from his previous incident in Easter of 2018. So I just want to let you guys know, he's already got a history of lying, as you heard in that introduction clip. That was him and Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich. So they already don't trust him at the sheriff's office and think he's a liar. So anyways, I just thought it interesting to point that out before we move on here. But like I said, the Spokane Police Department does not necessarily know about that incident and may not be able to find out about it because unless someone from the Spokane County Sheriff's Office tells them, because those documents are sealed, as I've mentioned before. I asked 2B, that's, whenever you see that on here, that's referring to Chad Gorton's wife, I guess soon to be ex-wife, to tell me about her relationship with Chad Gorton. She advised that they had been married for 13 years and that their only child is, won't worry about that, explained that they had lived in Dayton, Texas area and moved to Spokane, Washington in the summer of 2016 when Chad was hired by the Spokane County Sheriff's Office. She stated that their marriage has been a struggle and she and Chad have discussed divorce in the past. She explained that they are now getting divorced, and this has caused even more stress on their daily lives as Chad has moved out. The reality of living separately and how work is going to be difficult, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I asked if she and Chad have ever had physical altercations. She stated they had arguments but had not had any physical altercations. I explained to her that I had received information that she has a video of Chad acting assaultive towards her. She stated that she knew what I was talking about and stated that the hatefulness of divorce had caused her to lie and exaggerate things. So I just want to stop real quick and point this out again. So this is a day after the 30th. The 30th was when Chad Gorton called in to his supervisors and said that there was some stuff going on between him and his ex-wife and they're going through kind of a nasty divorce. Now this is the next day when this Spokane police detective is interviewing her. That's what I'm reading right now. So this is what she's saying the day after all this broke up, or blew up, I should say, on the 30th of December. She explained that she had told friends that she had a video of Chad, but it was not true, adding that she lied. She further stated that at one time there was video from when she and Chad lived in Texas. She stated that the video recorded an incident when they were in a vehicle together and arguing. I asked her to describe what the video showed. She said that it was more of an audio recording than a video, as a view of the passenger side door pocket. She stated that she and Chad were arguing and she activated the video recorder on her cell phone. She placed the cell phone on the passenger side door pocket and recorded the interaction. During the argument, Chad hit his hand on the top of the dashboard and made a distinct sound. She stated that although the sound was him hitting the top of the dashboard, she thought about using the video in the future to say that the sound was of him hitting her. I asked when the video was recorded, and she stated it was taken about a month before they moved to Spokane County from Texas. She estimated the time frame to be about June of 2016. I asked her if anything was broken or damaged during this incident, and she said there was no damage. Then he just goes on to ask if he could see the recording, and Chad Gorton's wife says that she doesn't have the video anymore. It was on an old phone, blah, 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 whatever. I asked if she had any other videos that would show conflict between her and Chad, and she stated that she did not. I asked if she had a video that may show Chad doing something with her sunglasses. And then she said I was talking about the same video as during the incident in the truck in Texas. She stated that when Chad hit his hand on the top of the dashboard, her glasses were on the dashboard and fell to the floorboard of the truck. I asked her if she had told others about having a video, and she said that she did. She stated that due to the divorce, she lied to friends by claiming to have a video of Chad being aggressive to her. She explained that she lies in order to make herself a better person than Chad to be their friends. She stated that this behavior makes her feel bad, and she has been seeking religion to help her with being truthful. So this first part that happened on the 31st, I'm just going to read the whole thing and let you guys discuss in comments with me what you think is going on. Plus, there will be further reports on this. Like I said, this is just the first report. She further stated that Chad is a good person and father, explaining that if she felt differently, she would never allow her daughter to go with him. She further stated that she believes Chad is a good deputy and the Spokane County Sheriff's Office is lucky to have him as an employee. I explained that she might also be contacted by Spokane County Sheriff's personnel in regard to this matter. I further explained that the investigation I was conducting would be separate from their investigation, and this was done in order to prevent misunderstanding or miscommunication. So he's basically just saying there's going to be two separate investigations. So apparently that's another one I'll have to look into, is the Spokane County Sheriff's Office investigation. Just real quick here, because this person does come up later. When we left the residence, a friend of Chad Gorton's wife's, identified only as Nicole, arrived. Chad's wife explained that Nicole had come over to offer emotional support due to the separation and pending divorce. Chad agreed to speak with us. We went to an attached garage area of the residence, and I explained to Chad that I was there. I was aware of the separation between him and his wife, and I asked about their marriage up to date. He explained that they had been in marriage for 13 years, and their only child is their 6-year-old daughter. He described their marriage and pending divorce as messy, and explained that he had moved out of the residence in preparation for the divorce. Chad stated that he understood I was there for a domestic violence investigation and stated there has never been any incident of domestic violence between him and his wife. He clarified by saying that they've had verbal arguments, disagreements, but there's never been assaultive behavior by him or her on the other. I explained that the Spokane County Sheriff's Office advised me of a statement he had made and provided to supervisors regarding a video recording of an interaction between him and his wife. And he stated that recently that she told him that she had a video or recording of him being aggressive toward her. He recalled that she told him that the video was over a year old, and she said something about the video showing her sunglasses falling down. Chad stated that he did not believe there was a video recording, and he has never seen the video. He stated that after she told him she had a video, and due to their contentious relationship and pending divorce, he told his supervisors, just in case she reported, I guess is what he's trying to say. So he hands over the phone to Casey. This is Deputy Carlos. This is his wife, Casey Carlos. She stated that she understood that Chad and his wife were going through a divorce. I explained to Casey that was my understanding that Chad's wife had told her about a video that she may have that shows assaultive behavior by Chad towards her. Casey stated that was correct. Casey further explained that Chad's wife told her that she had a video of her and Chad arguing about him cheating on her. Chad's wife told her that the video was taken in a car and showed her sunglasses fall off her head when he hit her during the argument. I asked if Chad's wife told her when and where the video was taken. Casey said she told her the video was taken in June and she was unsure where they were when the video was taken. I asked her if she'd ever seen the video and she said she hadn't. I asked if Casey Carlos, if she was aware of any domestic violence between Chad and his wife in the past. Casey said that she and Brandon have known the Gordons for the past 3 years. When Brandon was hired by SCSO, they became family friends. During this time period, they've had several interactions between them, and there has never been any indication of domestic violence occurring between the Gordons. Casey explained that although she is aware of the relationship struggles with the Gordons, the allegation of domestic violence is a complete surprise to her. Most people would. Most people don't put their domestic violence issues out in front of everyone. All right, so then the last part I want to read here before I move on to some other stuff is the interview with Crystal Giacomini via the telephone. So he called her at 18:05 hours on the 31st, told him who he was. I explained to Crystal, it's my understanding that he told that Gorton's wife had told her about a video that shows assaultive behavior by Chad towards his wife. Crystal stated that was right. She stated that on the 28th of December, she spoke with Gorton's wife on the phone, and she explained to him that she had a hard time hearing because she was at a hockey game and it was loud. Chad's wife told her that Chad was leaving her and had moved out of their house, and asked her if she knew where Chad moved to or if she knew where he was staying. Then she continued to talk and told her she had a video that she could use to control Chad. Chad's wife said something about the video showing Chad pushing her head, but she did not get into more detail, and then told Crystal not to tell her husband, Christopher, about the video. I told Crystal that I saw it. I asked Crystal if she saw the video, and she said she did not. I asked her if Chad's wife told her of the time and location the video was taken, and she said she did not. I asked Crystal if she was aware of any domestic violence issues between Chad and his wife. Crystal said that she and Christopher had been friends for the past 2 years when Christopher was hired. During that time, there's been no indication of violence occurring between the Gortons. Crystal explained that the allegation of domestic violence was shocking, and she had seen no signs of domestic violence whatsoever. During the investigation, I did not find probable cause that a crime occurred. Due to the involved parties being involved in law enforcement, only the names were added to the fact sheet, contact, and logistic information, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here he's just saying everything he put on this report is true to the best of his knowledge. Signed off out on the 31st, and then it was reviewed by, I guess this is Sergeant Keller, who we mentioned earlier, on the 2nd. On January 20th of 2020, I received documentation from the Spokane County Prosecutor's Office that this case was being declined because it does not meet the prosecution standards of RCW 9.94A.411. And we can get into that a little bit later. For this, I just want to read through this report so you guys can see how this was handled and what was done. The declination document I received was dated January 17th, 2020, and signed by Spokane Deputy Prosecutor Cipolla. And then there's an attachment further on. Let's see. This investigation is closed and settled due to declined prosecution. So there's that. That was on the 20th when he did all that. So that was after everything has been said and done. Now you're going to start seeing some updates to this. Here we go. Yeah. So field case supplement on the 8th of January. So what we have here, this is interesting. These are starting on, this is text messages from Chad Gorton's wife's phone. So as it shows here, got a video that was taken on June 30th of 2019, of duration of 9 minutes and 52 seconds. And then a second video with a duration of 3 minutes and 14 seconds that was edited on the 4th of August of 2019. The call logs show the phone call to Crystal Giacomini on the 28th, as we've already discussed. So here, this is interesting. Call logs from several calls between Chad Gorton's wife and Chad Gorton himself on the 31st at 16:20 hours, which was when they left Chad Gorton's wife's residence. She later admitted to calling Chad Gorton after police left her residence, and this was reported by witness Nicole, so the lady who came to their house right after the detectives left on the 31st. The call logs confirm the majority of the calls between Chad and his wife on the 31st through the 6th of January were made from her phone calling to his. Now we have some text threads here, and these are kind of interesting. A text thread from Casey Carlos. These are in ascending order, it says. So from the 27th to the 28th of January, she accessed Chad's phone and found evidence he's had an affair. So his wife accessed on sometime between the 27th and 28th, accessed Chad's phone and found out he had an affair, and she was letting Casey Carlos this. So then now this one was sent on October 28th from her to Casey Carlos, and it reads, "I'm gonna ruin him. I told him this morning that I still have video of him hitting me back in June. So even if he comes to the house, I'll put a restraining order on him and his career will be finished." So this is back in October, the end of October. She's sending this message to Casey Carlos. Now this is back on December 28th again, discussed Chad hitting her. Kimberly states, "He hit me so hard my sunglasses flew off my face." And then she states, "I have it on video of me telling him I'm recording this because when you're sober, you won't remember the hurtful things you said, but I didn't think he would hit me." Now this is a thread from with Chad, her husband, and this is dated on the 28th as well. So her and Chad discuss him moving out and telling him not to return to the house. This one also at 8:51 in the morning, "I will let you know when needed. I don't feel safe around you, and I still have a video of when you hit me." And then, of course, it's interesting. Apparently, he didn't respond to that. Oh, wait, no. So then there's a After that, they discuss getting a restraining order if Chad attempts to go to the house, but the detective isn't going to include any of that conversation. Discussion of Chad getting items from the house, using a trailer for housing. That's on the same day, just later. You can see the text numbers here. You got 35 through 48 and then 49 through 116. So that's what's going on during there. He's saying 134, discussion of Chad advising he's telling his sergeants of his pending divorce, responding that soon as sergeants will know the real reason he left his family. And then she sent the following text: I'm angry that you had an affair and tore apart your family. You're dang right I am, but there isn't a video of me hitting you so hard that your glasses fell off your face. Then on the 31st, this was on the 30th, on the 31st at 17:17, she sent messages of Chad telling him to answer his phone and that city detectives just showed up at her house. She instructs him to have someone else, Rachel, answer her phone. She texted, we need to be united front so it doesn't look bad to the county, she texted. Chad, it did happen. I lied to the detectives. Chad responded, it did not. To be responded, Chad, even Nicole heard the audio. It's clear what happened. So this is also just looks like later on, threads 219 through 229, so a few threads later. She discusses that she lied to the detectives and her marriage is still ending. She asked Chad for direction and if she should continue to lie. Chad responded, tell them you don't have it and delete it. She responded that she would be made out to be a liar. And Chad responded, no one will know. To be discusses regret and feeling sick over not being truthful. Then she sent several unanswered texts about the recording, about reconciling their marriage. This is on the 3rd of January. He's saying that she did this. Then again on the 3rd of January, he said, asking her, please stop. I'm extremely busy at work and you're blowing my phone up. I'm making the decision to move on. I love you and our child. I can't be in a toxic relationship anymore. I'm done. We can be cordial and good parents separately. So this is on the 3rd through the 4th. Chad and his wife discuss separation and her demands to him to see his daughter, specifically going to AA. So it sounds to me like she's saying, if you want to see your daughter, you need to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Again, she states that she has a video proving he is violent when he drinks. Chad, this is the way that you wanted it. I have protected my daughter. I can turn over the video so the court requires it, which you would lose your job. Or you keep things civil and complete it on your own. I'm finished talking about it. So it sounds like to me she's saying, look, you have to go to AA, and if you don't, I'm going to use this video against you. She's trying to get him to get help, is what it seems like to me. Also, I know that because she stated that down here a little ways. You'll hear it. And then on the 4th, she accused Chad of being physically and mentally abusive. Chad responded that he has never been physically abusive and not to make those accusations. She discusses the turning the video over to detectives, and Chad responded that he does not know what she is talking about and he has never been physical with her. Even though up here, he just said, tell them you don't have it and delete it. But now he's saying he's never heard of it. I don't know what you're talking about. And then on the 5th, she discussed that she had not turned over the video and Chad's job is still safe, but she is known as a liar. And now this is between Chad's wife and I believe her mother. Mom, this is from the 1st of July. Mom, I'll be honest. My opinion of Dad changed last night. I looked him right in the eyes and told him that Chad smacked my sunglasses off my face and intentionally hit me. Chad played the dog and pony show and Dad fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Chad told me he didn't tell Dad that he was just taking my... Chad told me he didn't tell Dad that he was just taking my sunglasses off so he could see my eyes when I was talking to him. But I know Dad didn't make that up. I know that's what Chad told him to make it sound better. And to have Dad look at me and believe a lie Chad told him over what I told him hurt me very badly. I never thought Dad would believe and excuse a man for hitting his wife, but he did. Then on the 1st, that and her mom exchanged texts about the conversation that Chad and Denny, her father, had, confirming that Chad told him that he took the sunglasses off her. She also noted that Chad called in sick due to being hungover. She also mentioned that there is a video in the portion of the text thread. And then, so now this is the 27th of December. That was back on the July 1st. Now on the 27th of December, there's a discussion between Chad's wife and her mom about Chad moving out, the struggle with the state of their marriage, her need to sell the house, move, and among other unrelated topics. We're not talking about things here for the most part, and we're not telling anyone about the detectives coming over. So that's on the 1st of January. She's kind of still telling her mom, basically, look, I'm going with what Chad's saying here. On the 6th, she tells her mom, they discuss that she has a video and is meeting at Denny's so that no other deputies can see her. I think it would be internal since the only evidence is the video, which isn't obvious enough for criminal charges, I don't think. So basically, she's saying to her mom here on the 7th that the video, it's not obvious enough for criminal charges, and we'll get into that later. I'll get into that. But she's saying she thinks it's just going to be an internal thing if there's anything done, because she doesn't think it's serious enough for criminal charges. Again, more of a field case supplement here from the 8th. This is adding some more witnesses now. This is the mother and father of Chad Gorton's wife, and then the friend, Nicole, that we heard about earlier that I've already read about. Then we've got some more here. Mark Smith, Teresa Smith, and Andrea Bloomer. These people are with the chaplain service. These three here are with the chaplain service with the Spokane County Sheriff's Department, and Chad's wife had contacted them after doing the initial interview where she lied to the Spokane Police Department on the 31st of December. Okay, for those of you still with me, this is where things get pretty interesting and things take a turn for, I don't want to say the better, for the more interesting, I guess. So here we have on January 7th, I returned to work and noted I had received a voicemail on January 6th at 20:29 hours from Gorton's wife from her cell phone number. I listened to the voicemail, and the caller identified herself as Chad Gorton's wife. The message requested I contact her as she had not been forthcoming with the information she relayed to me the previous week. She explained that she did in fact have a video of an incident, and she was ready to turn it over to me. She also stated she had spoken with Spokane County Sheriff's Office Chaplain Mark Smith and an unnamed lieutenant about the situation. I saved this voicemail and placed it into Case Guard on the 7th of January 2020. On the 7th of January 2020 at 08:58 hours, I called Chad Gorton's wife on her cell phone. I advised her of who I was, and I received her voicemail and she apologized for not being truthful with me initially, and now wanted to cooperate with the investigation to include providing a truthful statement and also provide me with a video of an incident that was recorded on her cell phone. Chad's wife stated that her husband, Chad Gorton, is an Army veteran who served in Iraq. She discussed an incident in 2007 when an Army lieutenant came to their residence and took his firearms after she made a complaint of him being suicidal. She stated that Chad is a good person but acts very differently when he drinks alcohol, and she perceives his use of alcohol as a problem. She added that Chad also has a pornography addiction. She also requested he seek counseling for both alcohol and his pornography addiction, but he refuses, and stated that the difficulties in their marriage are rooted in these behaviors by Chad and his refusal to seek help through counseling or otherwise. I asked her about physical abuse between her and Chad. She stated that Chad has pushed her in the past, to include pushing her down. She stated that he often approaches her rapidly with his hand raised as if to strike her, then stops before physically contacting her. She discussed two incidents that occurred in Texas prior to the summer of 2016 when Chad caused injury to her by pushing her into things. She stated she once received a bruise on her arm when he shoved her into a door. During another incident, she received a bruise to her leg when he pushed her into a table. She also discussed an incident in Texas where she was pregnant and that Chad pushed her to the ground, but she did not sustain any injuries. These incidents were not reported to police, and she stated that these behaviors occurred when they lived in Texas and continued after they moved to Spokane County in the summer of 2016. She added since moving to Spokane, she has been pushed by Chad, but there has been no injury. She described the pushing as him using his upper body to move her backward. She believed the last time he pushed her in this manner was October of 2019. She discussed Chad's use of discipline on their daughter, stated that Chad is from Texas and often uses punishment that may be more acceptable there. I asked her to explain this, and she stated that if their daughter is disrespectful by talking back or acting sassy, Chad will use a wooden spoon on her butt. She described his punishment. She described that his punishment would be 3-to-1 hard strikes, which would leave red marks. She also described Chad as wailing on and yelling at her on occasions. She also discussed her concern for Chad's mental state, and on occasions in the past he has repeatedly threatened suicide during arguments that they've had. She did clarify, blah, 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 and stated that she did not tell anyone about these incidents to include reporting to law enforcement in Texas. She also stated that since they moved to Spokane County, she has not observed Chad attempt to commit suicide. She stated that during arguments, when she confronts Chad about his unacceptable behavior, he often attempts to end the conversations by making statements about killing himself. She stated that she believed that he did this to manipulate her and bring the conversation to an end. She stated that the last time she talked to him about killing, that the last time he talked about killing himself was in October or November of 2019, when she had confronted him about pornography on his phone. She also stated that Chad does have firearms, described the firearms as being one of his hobbies. She stated that the guns are normally stored in the safe at their house, and Chad has the only key to the safe and left the safe at the house when he moved, but the key is no longer at the house. She stated that she did not know if Chad took his firearms with him when he moved, adding that he did not remove all of his belongings from the house, and he is living in their camp trailer. She stated that she is aware of the following personal firearms: an AR-15, 2 shotguns, a hunting rifle, a .45 caliber handgun, and a 9mm handgun. She is also aware of the Spokane County Sheriff's Office issued firearms to include an AR-15, a shotgun, and his .45 caliber sidearm. Discussed that she did not have a video of her cell phone from an incident between her and Chad that occurred, or excuse me, that she did have a video that occurred on 6/30 of 2019. She stated this was the video she had lied to me about having, and she discussed with some friends, to include Crystal Giacomini and Casey Carlos recently, the two that I read about earlier. I asked her what occurred the day the video was taken. She said that Chad had been to Coeur d'Alene Lake with friends, and they were boating during the day. During the outing, she overheard Chad speaking with his friend Kenny. She overheard Kenny ask Chad, what does your wife think of that? And she overheard Chad respond, she doesn't know. She stated that after the day of boating, she was driving home with Chad from Coeur d'Alene and confronted him about the conversation and what he was hiding from her. Conversation ensued to include Chad making an excuse about saying he was talking about testosterone injections, and stated that she knew he was lying, as this was something that she did know about. Their conversation continued, and she confronted him several times about several of his behaviors and his unwillingness to deal with the bad behaviors. She stated that during the argument, she activated the recorder on her phone and told Chad that she was recording the interaction so that she could show it to her parents. She stated that the phone was placed into different areas of the vehicle and did not show everything visually. She stated that eventually Chad struck her in the face, causing her sunglasses to fall off, then verbally denied hitting her on the audio. I asked her to provide more detail as what happened when he struck her, and she stated that she was driving the vehicle and Chad was in the front passenger seat. They were the only people in the vehicle, and I asked if Chad struck her with his right hand or his left. She replied that she didn't know. I asked her if he used a fist or an open hand, and she replied that she did not know. Then she stated it was more like a slap. She then stated that she couldn't recall if her sunglasses were damaged or not during the incident. I asked if she recalled where on the roadway they were when the slap occurred. She stated they had exited I-90 to the area that entered their neighborhood and were within a few minutes of their house. She confirmed that this was the same address that I had contacted her at on the 31st of December. This confirmed that the alleged assault had occurred in Spokane County based on their current address. She continued to say that when she arrived at their house, her parents showed up within a few minutes with their daughter, and she stated that Chad went to the backyard of the residence, and she stated that she told her mother and father that Chad had hit her. She stated that her father went to the backyard to talk with Chad in return, saying that Chad had denied hitting her and told him that he had removed her sunglasses. That's what I already referred to in one of those text threads earlier. She stated that she was disappointed in her father for not believing her. I asked her who she had shown the video to. She stated that on the 31st, after Detective Lebsuck, Sergeant Keller, and I left her house, she played the audio and the video for her friend Nicole. And she also thought that she had attempted to send the video to her mother, Michelle, but the file was too large to send. She advised that there were 2 versions of the video, that she had tried to edit one video. She discussed the additional potential evidence on her cell phone to include a text thread between her and her mother from July 1st. It includes discussion of the assault, a text thread between her and Casey Carlos that includes discussion of the video, a phone call to Crystal Giacomani when they discussed the video, and a phone call to Chad Gorton's phone on the 31st at 16:30 when she called him to inform him of her statement to me after leaving the house. A text thread between her and Chad Gorton between 12:26 and present discussed the video and their relationship. She discussed that she had deleted messages prior to 12:26 in this text thread. I asked if she had shown the video to Chad, and she said she had not. She explained that she has threatened him with the video, telling him to seek counseling or she would use it against him. She stated she lied to me initially about the video as she was using it to attempt to convince Chad to get counseling and work on his issues. She stated that he refused to do that, so she was coming forward with the video now. She added that she hopes the video will force a court order him to get counseling and to help him with his issues. So far what we have is a narrative of establishing that she's kind of crazy and she's been lying, both from other deputies' wives. You're going to read a little bit more about that here, but I just wanted to highlight this because this kind of stands out to me, that she did this. She claims she's trying to get him help, and later on you'll find out a little more information about this, but that's why she's saying that she lied about this initially. She didn't want him to get fired. She wants him to get help for his addictions. She also added that after my investigation began, Chad directed her to delete the video and she told him that she had. She stated that she's fearful of Chad. When he finds out, she kept the video and shared it with investigators today. So something else very important there. She's fearful of this guy. Probably lots of people are, because he has a gun and a badge and qualified immunity. I asked why she had lied during my initial investigation on the 31st of December, and she stated that Chad was involved in an off-duty traffic collision on Easter Day of 2018. He was given a last chance agreement by the sheriff after that collision. She believed that bringing this complaint forward would lead to Chad getting fired, and she felt that he would get help and counseling if she threatened the video. He has continued to refuse to get help, so she is moving forward with the video and truth of what occurred. So again, just what I explained, she's trying to get him help. And he's manipulating the situation and using the blue line protection to keep his job and make her look like the bad person. I'm not saying everybody was perfect. I've been through a divorce, and I recognize that both parties do things they probably regret. Okay, now here, this is a summary of the video with a duration of 9 minutes and 52 seconds, so I want to read this. The video can be viewed in the case guard. Hopefully we'll be getting this as part of our public records request as well, because I think this is pretty important. The video begins by showing a female that I recognized as Chad's wife. Showed her wearing sunglasses, and the video also shows a male that I recognized as Chad Gorton. The video is taken in a vehicle, and his wife can be observed in the driver's seat behind the steering wheel, and Chad is in the front passenger seat. No one else can be observed in the vehicle, and it should be noted the view from the camera is inverted, making it appear that they are on opposite seats. However, the location of the steering wheel in front of his wife clarifies the camera inversion. Both Chad's wife and Chad acknowledge that the phone is recording. The first several minutes of the audio reveals a discussion with raised voices and sometimes yelling by both parties. That mirrored the domestic-related issues that his wife spoke of during the interview, dated the 7th of January, and documented above, and specifically a discussion she alluded to between Chad and his friend during the boating outing. At the 2:17 timestamp, Chad attempted to turn the phone recording off but was unsuccessful, and advised Chad that she is recording the interaction so that she can show it to her parents so they can observe his behavior. So apparently she's trying to get help for him. Again, this fits that narrative. At about the 2:20 timestamp, the cell phone recording of the view is moved from what appeared to be the center console, splitting the driver-passenger seat, to what appears to be the lap of Chad's wife facing forward. The discussion continued with both Chad and his wife accusing each other of various things and arguing about several topics. At about 6:13 timestamp, Chad requested her to turn off the video, and then she then placed the phone inside the mat pocket of the driver door of the vehicle. However, the phone device continued to record. The view of the video was obscured and did not show Chad or his wife, but the audio continued to record. The conversation continued with Chad saying he had not done anything wrong, and she made statements about him being too lazy to make medical appointments. About the timestamp of 6:14, a noise can be heard, which I found consistent with the sound of sunglasses falling to the ground, and his wife can be heard gasping. Chad can then be heard saying, "You're pushing your fucking limit. You understand me? You understand me? Let's go home. You're pushing it." At about the 7:09 timestamp, she says, "I can't believe you just hit me." And Chad immediately responds, "I didn't hit you. I didn't hit you. I did not hit you." She then responded to him asking, "How did my sunglasses get on the floor?" Chad responds, "Because I took them off." And she asked, "How did you take them off?" Chad responds, "I took them off with my hand. I did not hit you. So don't be so dramatic." From the timestamp of 7:39 to 8:44, there's no conversation, but music can be heard in the background. About the timestamp of 8:43, Chad can be heard asking, "What? Why are you acting this way?" She can be heard whispering, "Why did you do that?" And Chad responds, "Why are you acting this way?" All Hallmark fucking dramatic. She responded, "Why did you do that?" And Chad asked, "Why are you acting this way?" About the 8:55 timestamp, a door can be heard opening and then closing. The video and the audio continue. And about the timestamp 9:06, the screen is black, but the audio, no conversation continued until about 9:52 timestamp when the video ended. So then on the 7th of January, he contacted Nicole Erling. She was identified as the person who was present at the end of the conversation on the 31st, so he wanted to contact her about that. He explained to her, Nicole explained to him that she knows both Chad and his wife through a church group. She's known them for a few years and has befriended both of them. She is aware of their marriage relationship and described it as tumultuous. Nicole explained that she is aware of Chad's wife previously moving out of the house on Chad, and she stated that when Chad moved out of the house on her, Chad's wife acted irrational and seemed vindictive toward Chad, especially when it came to Chad's time with their daughter. Nicole stated that she has been trying to help Chad's wife, and she knows the difficulty of the situation and wants to be sure that Chad's wife is being rational and fair for the benefit of Chad and them all. Nicole stated that she recalled being at the house on the 31st, and Nicole stated that she had been at the residence earlier in the evening and assisted Chad's wife and Chad by taking their daughter to the house, and Chad was at that night, as Chad's wife had prohibited Chad from seeing their daughter for the past several days since he had moved out. When she returned from taking the daughter to Chad's, she realized that the detective was there conducting the investigation. She said that after the detective Lebsock, Sergeant Keller, and I left the house, her and Gordon's wife immediately called Chad and was telling him the police had been there, and she was telling Chad everything she told him. Nicole said that she could hear Chad through the phone, and he was telling her that he did not care what she told him, as he had done nothing wrong. He also told her that he did not want to hear what she had to say. Nicole stated that Chad acted disinterested in what his wife was saying, and he cut the phone call short as he told her he just wanted to be with his daughter. Nicole said that Chad's wife told her that she lied to police as they were asking about the video and that she had on her phone. Nicole said that Chad's wife then played the audio of a recording on a phone, and she heard Chad's wife saying, "You just hit me," and Chad saying, "I didn't hit you." Nicole also noted she heard Chad saying something about taking glasses off her face. Nicole said that after hearing the audio on the phone, she told Nicole she did not feel the video proved anything, as it is a she said he said scenario and it doesn't prove anything. Nicole stated that she asked Chad's wife why she would make a video and keep it like that. She said that Chad's wife told her that it would show people how mean to her Chad was when he was drunk. She also said that if Chad ever tried anything on her, she has the video to show he's a bad person. I asked Nicole if Chad's wife told her what happened when the video was taken. Nicole said that Chad's wife told her that Chad had hit her during the video. I asked if Chad's wife explained how, if it was a punch, a slap, if there's any description, and she said that she only told her that he hit her, but provided no further description. Nicole added that she asked Chad's wife if Chad had ripped the glasses off her face. Nicole said that Chad's wife responded no. That would be assault. Nicole said she did not understand the rationale or what she was trying to prove. I asked Nicole if she was aware of any physical violence between Chad and his wife, and Nicole said that Chad's wife told her that Chad had pushed her to the ground when she was 9 months pregnant with their daughter. Nicole stated that emotional abuse is present by both Chad and his wife, as they are not nice to each other during discussions. She stated that she had never seen or had the impression Chad was abusive. Nicole brought up that she asked Chad's wife if she had ever hit Chad, and Chad's wife responded by saying, yes, of course. On the 7th of January, I contacted the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, Chaplain Mark Smith, via the phone. Regarding his interaction, Mark explained that him and his wife Teresa Smith are chaplains, and on the 6th of January at about 1500 hours, along with Andrea Bloomer, a board member of the chaplain, they met with Chad's wife at her request to discuss marriage and financial issues due to a pending divorce. During the discussion, Mark had to leave for a few minutes, leaving Chad's wife with Teresa and Andrea, but when he returned, he advised was advised that Chad's wife needed to discuss an incident of domestic violence that occurred on the 30th after the day of being out boating and having drinks. Went on to tell her she was driving Chad home. They had an argument. During the argument, Chad hit her in the face, knocked her sunglasses off. She recorded the incident, but she said she had to secretly put the phone in the driver door map to secretly record Chad as he was becoming violent. Mark stated that Chad's wife offered to play the recording for them, but he told her that it would be inappropriate, but it should be provided to the investigators. Then on the 7th at 1900, she said he received a call from Chad's wife, who told him that Chad had contacted her in person and served her with divorce papers and made a statement to her of, I'm not fucking around. She told him that this scared her, and Mark then requested to meet with the Spokane Valley Precinct where they could discuss things further in the presence of Lieutenant Zollers. Just want to read a little bit, so I think this is important. Teresa added, for the 10 minutes that Mark was out of the room, she and Andrea Bloomer spoke with Chad's wife and had some statements to add. Teresa added that Chad's wife told him she was not forthright with the detective who did the initial investigation, and explained that she lied because after Chad self-reported the video to his supervisors, Chad, had sent her text messages demanding that she delete the video so it would not exist when the investigators asked for it. She did not delete the video, but lied about it instead. Also confided in her and Andrea Bloomer that she was still trying to save their marriage when the investigators asked for the video and her statement, and she lied as a truthful statement, and revealing the video of Chad assaulting her to investigators would certainly be the end of her marriage. So basically what she's saying, she lied because she was still trying to save her marriage and get Chad help. So that's why she's saying she lied. On the 7th, I contacted Michelle via the phone. This is Chad's wife's mom. I explained who I was and circumstances. She advised me that she and her husband were happy to cooperate with the investigation. However, they're boarding airplanes, so I called them back. We contacted on the 8th, blah, 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 when they returned. Michelle stated that Denny is her husband and present with her on speakerphone. I asked Michelle if she had spoken to Chad's wife recently, her daughter, and she said that she had. I explained that the SCSO office had requested Spokane PD to conduct an investigation into domestic violence allegation involving Chad and their daughter. She stated she understood this, and I asked Michelle if she recalled the day in the summer of 2019 when her daughter told her she was assaulted by Chad. Michelle said she recalled that day. She stated that she and Denny often babysit their granddaughter, and they had done so that day. They arrived at Chad and their daughter's house and to find their daughter was crying, and told her that she and Chad were arguing over his drinking. Their daughter told her that she and Chad had just arrived about 5 minutes before them, and that their daughter told her and Denny that when they were driving home from the lake, she told her that Chad had smacked her and knocked her sunglasses off her face, and Michelle stated that she could see the red mark near the temple area on her daughter. She stated that they stayed in the house for 2 to 3 hours. By the time they left, the red mark was less visible. Michelle stated that Chad had stayed outside in the yard, moving and doing yard work, but it was obvious he was very intoxicated. Michelle said that she recalled Denny hearing their daughter say that Chad had hit her, and he went to the backyard to talk to him. Denny returned and told her that Chad denied hitting their daughter, and said he had taken the sunglasses off of her face. And Denny confirmed that this is the conversation he had with Chad. Denny added that he did not see any mark on their daughter as described by Michelle, but added that he didn't spend as much time with their daughter as Michelle did that day either, and he focused his attention more towards Chad for that day. I asked Denny and Michelle if their daughter described how Chad had smacked her, and they responded that she didn't elaborate. Michelle said, "Was it a slap, swat, hit to take the sunglasses off? I really don't know." I asked Michelle and Denny if their daughter ever discussed having video of the incident involving the sunglasses, and Michelle said that 2 days after the incident, her daughter told her she had a video of it, and Michelle said that she had never seen the video. She said her daughter told her that she took the video so she could show Chad of how his behavior when he was drinking. She told her she had told Chad often she's been told that Chad often can't recall his behavior after drinking and denies acting inappropriately. So Michelle said she's unsure if her daughter ever showed the video to Chad. Denny explained that Chad was supervised in the military by Denny when they were in Texas, and they have known each other for a very long time. When Chad and his daughter moved to Spokane, they lived with Denny and Michelle during the time their house was being built, and they described their relationship with Chad as knowing him very well. They are aware of Chad's drinking and is a major contention in their relationship and has caused it to be a toxic relationship. During the extended time they have known Chad, they have never personally observed any physical violence between them, but their daughter has told them that Chad pushes against her, and Michelle added that she believed that her daughter likely pushes back. Michelle stated that she is aware of their daughter going through Chad's phone and has heard of recent scuffles they've had over her taking his phone and him taking it back from her. Michelle and Denny both stated that it pained them to see the relationship in the state that it is, but that divorce may be the best way to proceed. Here, one more little bit here, and we're just about done. On the 8th of October, I contacted Andrea Bloomer via the telephone. I explained to her who I was. So she's on the board of the chaplains for the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, and she was present with Mark and Teresa, the chaplains, on the 6th when Chad's wife discussed the incident with them. So Andrea stated that Chad's wife discussed the incident with them, and it occurred on June 2019 after her and Chad had spent the day boating, blah, 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 blah. She told her that when Chad drinks, he often does not remember or denies his bad behavior the next day. So due to the argument, she recorded the interaction during the argument. Chad's wife told her that she had recorded the conversation, but the phone was inside the door pocket and did not capture the visual of what was going on. Andrea stated that Chad's wife told her that during the argument, Chad had hit her, causing her sunglasses to fall off. Chad's wife asked him why he hit her, and he denied it, and asked her how her sunglasses fell off, and he told her that he took them off with his hand. Andrea continued to say that Chad's wife told her she drove home and her parents arrived about 5 minutes later, and she told her mother and observed a red mark on her face. I asked Andrea if Chad's wife described the hit in any further detail. She said it was only described as a hit. I asked her if she discussed any other instances of domestic violence, and she stated that Chad's wife only discussed verbal arguments but no other physical touching. Andrea then discussed that during the meeting, Chad's wife was in a mental place that she believed she could salvage the marriage. And Andrea stated that it appeared to her that Chad's wife was using the video to manipulate her and Chad's relationship. Thus, she initially lied when she met with the detectives. On the 31st of December 2019, Andrea added that Chad's wife is in a different position now, as the marriage is not salvageable, and she appears to be using the video to better her position in the divorce. Andrea stated that Chad's wife had a fear of Chad taking their daughter in the divorce, and that may be one of the example of the manipulation of bringing the video out now. Andrea did clarify that this was her opinion and not a fact. So I just have to stop real quick again, because this is a whole lot of opinion in there that is only taking the side of the sheriff's deputy, Chad Gorton, here. I'm sorry, but when you're going through a divorce, both parties are using things to manipulate the other side, based on the advice of the lawyers, honestly. But my big problem with that statement right there is it doesn't matter if she's using the video to manipulate how the divorce works out for her. This thing actually happened, and this guy is a sheriff's deputy that's trusted with keeping the peace over us all. And so far, he doesn't look like a very good dude. He met with Chad Gorton in SCSO administrative office, or I met Chad of our meeting, and he stated he recalled the meeting, explained there had been additional developments. Chad stated that he understood and was willing to speak with me. I explained to Chad that I was not going to arrest him and he did not have to speak with me. Chad stated he would speak with me because he's done nothing wrong and he's never hit his wife, knowing that the allegation against him is for domestic violence. I explained to Chad that she'd initiated contact with me after the 31st and provided him information about a specific incident which she alleged an assault occurred on her by him. I explained that this incident was on the 30th of June after a day of boating with Kenny on Lake Coeur d'Alene. Chad stated that he and his wife had been out on Kenny's boat several times and he was not sure of the exact date I was talking about. Of course not, because he was drunk off his ass, can't remember a thing. It's a very great defense. I told him that on the way home, he and his wife were arguing and she activated the video camera on her phone and made a video. I explained that the video captured him waving at the screen, acknowledging that it was recording him. Chad stated that he did not recall that scenario, but as we discussed on 31st, his wife has told him she had a video of him. Chad stated that the last we talked, he believed the video she had was from over 3 years ago when they lived in Texas. I explained that the circumstances of that incident changed. So here's something here. It's revealing something right here. Initially, we can go back. I have it recorded. I read it, but he said that the video was from about a year ago, is what he said on the 31st. But now he's saying, Chad stated that the last we talked, he believed the video she had was from over 3 years ago when they had lived in Texas. That's what she told him that she told investigators. So now he's screwing up his story here. I explained and she now described that incident as the 30th of June. I asked him if he recalled the day after the lake with Kenny and arriving back at their house and seeing their parents. He got into the backyard and the father went in the backyard. He said that Chad, had hit her in the face and knocked off the sunglasses. Chad said that he recalled having that conversation with his wife's dad, but did not recall what day it occurred or much of the day at the lake or the car ride home that day. So that's pretty selective memory. He remembers that conversation that maybe makes him not look bad, but he doesn't remember anything else from that day that maybe makes him look bad. I mean, pleading the fifth there, I guess can't blame him for that, but it exposes what he is here. Chad explained that when they go to the lake, he usually drinks, and he'd been drinking that day. I asked Chad, so first he says he couldn't recall that day. Now he's saying he does recall that he was drinking that day. I asked Chad if he recalled what he told his wife's father, and he said he remembered telling him that he did not hit her, told him about taking sunglasses off her face. Chad clarified to me that he had recalled the conversation with his father-in-law, but did not recall the events of the day. He explained that he and his wife had several arguments, and he was unsure of the arguments of that particular day or the events of the day that preceded it. I asked if Chad recalled moving the sunglasses from her face, and he said he did not. I asked Chad if he ever hit her, and her sunglasses fell from her face, and he stated he has never hit her. I asked Chad if he had ever been assaulted by her. Chad stated that he had been assaulted on one occasion on the 26th of December. On that day that he had moved out of their house, Chad stated he worked that day and arrived home after 17:30. After he arrived home, his wife accessed his cell phone and he demanded it back and had to grab it from her hands as she attempted to keep it from him. She slapped him with her right open hand to his right cheek during this incident. I asked Chad if there was any injury from this, and he said there was not. Chad stated that he did not report this and told no one about it until revealing it to me today. I then advised Chad's wife that I'd spoken with Chad. I asked her if she recalled the interaction with him on the 26th of December, and she stated that she had a very clear recollection of that day as it was the turning point in their marriage. I asked her if there was any domestic violence that occurred that day. She stated that she had taken Chad's phone and was going through it, and he demanded it back. She refused to give it back, and he tried to grab it from her. As she walked away from him, she fell over a couch and went to the ground. She added that he did not push her, she just fell. He tried to get the phone from her, and she was able to get to her vehicle with the phone. As she tried to back out of the driveway, he stood behind her vehicle demanding the phone. She gave him the phone. She gave him back the phone, and he moved out of the way so she could drive away. I asked her about the if she slapped Chad during that incident. She said she did not. I advised her that it was an allegation that she had slapped him, and she says that doesn't surprise her. If you guys get something from my content, there are lots of ways to support me. Links to all of my platforms are in the description. Doing research and editing takes a lot of time and effort, and you can support those efforts with nothing out of pocket by downloading the more privacy-minded Brave browser using the link below. Viewing and upvoting my content on Steemit and or DTube can earn me and you cryptocurrency. And more traditional ways to give, like PayPal and other crypto wallets, are listed as well. Either way, I appreciate all the support I get from you in just watching my content and sharing this journey with me.